Welcome to Beyond Hormones, the Business of Wellness, the podcast for hormone and functional medicine providers who want a thriving, predictably profitable practice and maybe a little less stress along the way. Hi, I'm your host, Jody Lane, and I've worked with lots of clinics in marketing, sales, and business development, and I have seen what works and what doesn't. And here's what I believe. Hormone and wellness care should be available to everyone who wants it. And while providers know the medicine, many struggle with the business side of their cash practice. And that's where I come in. See, this podcast is here to share real strategies, real stories, things you can implement in your practice right away. So I am so glad you're here. Come on, let's go. Hey everybody, it's Jody here from the Beyond Hormones podcast, and I want to start today by talking about a pattern that I see in hormone and longevity clinics almost every single day. It goes like this. Marketing is happening, leads are coming in, something's always running in the background, and yet growth still feels like an up and down roller coaster. You've got those months where you feel like you finally cracked the code and every dollar is working to its advantage. And then it's followed by months where things are strangely quiet. And you're left staring at the numbers, wondering what in the world changed? The ads are the same. The team is the same. Where did the momentum stop? Well, today I want to talk about what's actually happening here. Now, I'm not going to be giving you a bunch of hacks or talking about which platform is trending or how to tweak your ad spend. What we're going to talk about today is the structural gaps that are quietly undermining your hard work. Now, for context, if this is the first time you come to the show, let me tell you something about myself. I've spent nearly 30 years in this game. I've owned marketing agencies. I've built the big campaigns across dozens of industries, but I've also worked inside of a hormone clinic. I've seen the front desk chaos that can happen. I've been inside the patient consultations. I've seen this from both the outside and the inside. And here's the reality that we in this industry have got to face. Hormone health is a high trust category. This isn't a quick one-click purchase someone finds on an Instagram ad and immediately buys. People don't just wake up one day, see a price tag for a $4,000 longevity protocol and say, "Yeah, sure, why not? Here's my credit card." No, it's way more personal than that, and it's layered. And honestly, it's often a little scary for prospective patients. The disconnect I see isn't a lack of effort on your part. It's a timing mismatch. Your marketing is often trying to close patients while your patient is still trying to decide if they can trust you with their body. There isn't a massive gap between someone saying, "I'm tired and I just can't seem to do better in the gym," and that same person saying, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to sign a year-long contract with you." As clinic owners, you have to build a bridge across that gap. Now, one of the simplest ways to think about this is a metaphor that I use with a lot of my consulting clients. I say marketing is not the treatment, marketing is the intake. So think about your clinical process. Now, you probably wouldn't dream of prescribing a complex hormone protocol without labs and an intake form and some medical history. No, you need context for the patient. Marketing is the exact same thing. It's what tells you who you're talking to, where they are in the buying process, and what they're actually ready to do. Now, in medicine, when you skip the labs and just start guessing at a protocol, the patient outcomes suffer, and marketing is no different. The first major gap that I see is that most clinics treat every lead as if they're the same. But a lead isn't a diagnosis, it's just a symptom. It's someone raising their hand and saying, something feels off, but they don't know yet if you are the right solution. So if you approach every lead with that same book a consult message, it's like handing every patient the same prescription before you've even seen their blood work. It's not wrong. Well, it's a little wrong, but it's also just very incomplete. To fix this, we have to understand who is actually in your ecosystem. I look at leads through 3 specific archetypes. And as you're listening, I want you to try to picture which of these make up the bulk of your current lead database. First one is the information seeker. These people just realize that they have brain fog or that they have weight gain, and all that could be hormonal. They aren't ready for a prescription or a pellet. They're ready for a PDF or a video explaining why they feel this way. And if you push a hard sell here, you're going to scare them off. They don't need a sale, they need education. All right, the second group, it's the comparison shopper. They know they need help, but they're looking at you versus the low-cost online subscription clinics. They need to know why your clinical oversight and your lab testing process is the gold standard and worth the money. They're looking for value and safety, not just a price point. And then the third, it's the ready but fearful. These are the ones who have been on your booking link and have it open up in browser tabs, but they just haven't clicked confirm because they're worried about side effects or what their spouse will think of the cost. They don't need more marketing. They need reassurance. And if your marketing is just one book now button, you're only talking to about 5% of the people who actually are seeing you. You're leaving the other 95% on the table for your competitors to scoop up. So let's talk about the business side of all this, because I know some of you may be thinking, yeah, whatever, I just need more leads to solve this problem. Well, most clinics don't need more leads. They need a better bucket. Think of it this way. Let's say you're spending $3,000 a month on ads and you get 50 leads, but your team only actually connects with 10 of those people. You're not really paying $60 per lead, which is what your marketer wants you to believe. You're actually paying $300 for every person who actually picks up the phone. When you ignore the middle of the process, you're essentially pouring water into a leaky bucket and trying to solve the problem by turning the faucet on harder. I worked with a clinic recently that was in this exact spot. They had high-end branding. They'd been around for a while. They had a pretty big ad spend, but the doctor was frustrated. She told me, these leads are garbage that I'm getting. They're a no-show or they have no idea what to do. So we went in and did a diagnostic. We found a black hole. A lead would come in, let's say in the evening around 6 o'clock on a Tuesday, but because only the front desk was there to make the phone call back, they wouldn't do that till maybe 11 o'clock the next day. And by then, the moment of brave curiosity from this patient had completely passed. We didn't increase her ad spend. We actually dialed it back. So instead we built a trust protocol. First, an immediate text went out from the doctor with a 2-minute what to expect video. Then a testimonial email was sent out 4 hours later. And then 24 hours later, a myth-busting text. Within 60 days, her lead to consult rate jumped by 40%. Same people, same ads, just a better bridge. So how do you know if your bucket is leaking? Well, I'm going to give you a very simple diagnostic that you can run this week. I call it the 48-hour mystery shop. Here's what you do. Ask a friend to submit a lead on your website and see exactly what happens over the next 48 hours. First, look at speed. How long did it take for the first touch? In this industry, if you don't respond in the first 5 minutes, the emotional heat drops by 80%. Now that touch can be a phone call, it could be an email, it could be a text. Next is the vibe. Was the first email a cold, sterile, thank you for your interest? Or did it sound like it came from a clinic that actually cares? And the next one, the multi-channel approach. Did they get a text, an email, a phone call? Most people don't answer unknown phone calls anymore. So if you aren't texting, you are invisible. And this is where automation gets misunderstood. Automation isn't about replacing your team, although that would be awesome, right? But it's not. Automation is like the protocol and your team is the clinician. The protocol ensures that nothing is skipped while your team provides all the human connection. Now, here's the shift I want you to think about as you're driving to the clinic today or finishing your workout or whatever you're doing listening to this podcast. Instead of asking, how do we get more leads? Instead, ask, what is actually happening to the leads that we already have? When you fill those gaps in the middle, marketing stops feeling like a guessing game and starts feeling and acting like a process you can actually trust. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening and you thought of another practitioner that needs to hear exactly what you just heard, do me a favor, send it over to them. And if any of this resonated with you, I would please ask you to consider giving this podcast a 5-star review. You have no idea how much it helps the show and allows us to get in front of more clinicians. And lastly, shoot me a DM on Instagram or on LinkedIn if you have any questions whatsoever. I would love to hear from you. Plus, if you did the 48-hour mystery shop, I'd love to hear how it goes. All right, guys, this is Jody here from Accelerated Medical Practices and the Beyond the Hormones podcast. Thank you so much for being with me here today. I hope you got a ton of value. If you need to send this to your marketing team, by all means, do that as well. And I will see you on the next podcast. Thank you for listening to Beyond Hormones, the business of wellness. I hope that you're walking away with fresh ideas and real strategies you can use to grow your practice with profit and purpose. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow the show so you never miss a conversation. And if something you heard today resonated with you, do me a favor, share this episode with a friend or a colleague. It's one of the best ways you can support the show, and it might be exactly what they need to hear right now. If you want even more tools and support, go ahead and head over to acceleratedmedicalpractices.com. Until next time, keep doing the work that matters. Your patients need you, and I am cheering you along every step of the way.